Not there, but good.
Do it again, look, there's not loads of colour on it.
The origins of Foyle Pride, or the parade, started back in 1993, so this is our 20th anniversary birthday. The first incarnation of Foyle Gay Pride was Derry-Londonderry, and it was a small group of community activists who decided to show the wider community this thriving group of people, the LGBT community that was often ignored or invisible to the wider community. It has gone through many incarnations over the years. 2007, it was named Foyle Pride Festival, and Free Derry Wall was painted pink, so it was one of the most iconic times. 2010, a new committee was brought in, and it's the present state that it's in, where we've had the parade, and that's the first time we've ever had a parade here for Pride. I think we did do, there was a different way back in the 90s, but in its present form, that's the way it's been. And it was so significant to have it on that route, because that's the original Civil Rights March route. So it starts off at the train station, comes along over the bridge, and then down up Carroll Road, down Fergie Street, Shippey Street, and down to Guildhall Square. And everybody meets back there, and it's just an amazing time. Over the years, since 2010, each year it has grown and grown in numbers. And not only just people that are coming for the parade and taking part in the parade, but people on the streets, the whole community coming out and celebrating and enjoying with us and in what we're doing. And that's probably the most significant part of it. This is about a community that belongs in the wider community, and I think we often forget that it's not just about LGBT, but also how do we fit into the whole community.
I would think almost everybody who was involved in the original civil rights campaign in Derry, almost everybody involved in that movement back then would now be sort of, if not actively involved in organising, at the very least sort of being in solidarity with them, being positive about the gay liberation march. And in that sense, you can say sort of that the civil rights movement generally in the North was positive, sort of in regard to gay liberation, in regard to the position of gay people in society in Derry and across the North. Because if you're out chanting, roaring about equality and against oppression, sort of calling to an end to all discrimination, then that just at a very simple and basic level makes it more difficult for somebody to tolerate, at least to tolerate publicly, the oppression of anybody else, in the grounds of gender or skin colour or sexual orientation. It's not just sentimentality that I think that which resulted in the Gay Pride March going along the same route as the original civil rights marches in Derry. I think that it's highly appropriate that what's called in Derry the civil rights route was taken by the Gay Pride March as soon as we started a few years ago having Gay Pride marches in Derry, because it locates the campaign for gay liberation within the broad struggle for liberation for all oppressed and minority groups and against the system which makes oppression inevitable. And it also enables us, taking the same route enables us to make those parallels historically. My political beliefs and perspective would lead me to say that there is still a struggle to be had. It's a continuation of the struggle, sort of for gay liberation and for liberation in other aspects of a society that we can date back to 1969, 1970, and that therefore, just as we have marches along the civil rights route here in Derry about other political issues to do with class politics and so forth, it's absolutely right that the Gay Pride March should take the route that the first civil rights march in Derry took in October 1968.
That I have of late been happy to visit secondary schools in the United Kingdom, although not yet in Northern Ireland, reassuring my kind that it will get better. Today's kids' jaws drop when I tell them about the old cruel ways.
to call the organisation Stonewall was a good one, because Stonewall in Greenwich Village was the first time that gay people stood up for themselves, really. Well, I'm not a politician, but the idea that gay rights are civil rights appeals to me, because it allows other people who are not gay themselves, I just don't think they know any gay people to relate to what's going on. Mind you, it works the other way around. I'm much more sympathetic to women's rights and the civil rights movements amongst black people around the world, and feel that I'm somehow got a fraternal interest in their success. So I think to say that gay rights are civil rights is more than just a debating point. It actually is the truth.
The two things sort of can't be seen as separate, the one from the other. I mean, you can't actually separate out the strands of civil rights campaigning the way you would separate the strands of a rope or something and unravel or unwind it. These things sort of either operate together or they don't at all. And I think that Derry is a good example. You can idealise your own city at times and its own politics because they're intimate to us, but history in Derry you can't see sort of the overlap and interpenetration of campaigning for gay rights and campaigning for rights in society generally.
The first march we actually had was in the early 90s, where there would have been a whole lot of homophobic assaults, or in them days what they called it was gay bashing. There were quite a few of them that happened, so we decided as gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender people that we would march in the streets of Derry. So actually we only met at the top of the Diamond and walked down the Diamond to the Guildhall, and that would have been the first actual visible gay protest. It wasn't Gay Pride, it was a gay protest, protesting against homophobic attacks, you know, the fact of Gay Pride taking part and taking the same route as the civil rights did. I think it was very good for a few years, and it was very poignant, you know, that we were out public and we didn't have to hide anymore and we could be who we are as gay, lesbian, bi, transgender people. But I do feel myself personally that this year we should do something different. We should go a different route. You know, it's time to move on. You know, I'm thinking like over the Peace Bridge or something. You know what I mean? Something totally different, you know.
Kind of make it our own.
Make it our own this time. You know, we followed people's footsteps for so long. It's time to do your own thing. Yeah.
To get out now and around.
Yeah. I was thinking even Edmonton. Do you know what I mean? I mean, we can still take the same route as they did in 1969, but the new part of it would be going over the new Peace Bridge. You know what I mean? Actually walking over the Peace Bridge, you know what I mean? And then having a big party in the square over in Edmonton would be absolutely excellent, rather than the Guildhall Square.
Because it's like it's such a great space now, and it's all, you know, for tourism and everything. And the square is absolutely stunning. So it'd be great to head there in the new Derry, do you know, in the new part, like.
And also we're like the City of Culture, you know. I mean, we're in the magazine. I mean, Gay Pride is on the magazine as an event, you know. And years ago that wouldn't have happened. Do you know what I mean?
I think it makes you feel more like prouder but in your own hometown doing it rather than going somewhere else. You know, you still have a good day and enjoy it, but at least when you're at home you're like, well, at least I can do this where I live. I can, you know.
Well, see, for like me and Brad and then the rest of us, it's for the younger generations now. It's taken over from the oldies.
They've taken on the baton.
We've done all we can do, so it's up for the younger ones now to do what they want to do. Right, but of course, or just enjoy their life.
The incarnation of Foyle Pride at that point was very much socially motivated. You know, it was very politically motivated, and I think the development that it took on was more inclusive, but still keeping that civil rights background.
And really,
I wasn't even out then.
Pride is about civil rights. It is about civil rights. So really, that's really what it is. It is saying, standing up and saying, here we are. We are visible. We've got rights. We should have the same rights as everyone else. And I think as long as that's needed, we'll still continue.